Stanley Mathews. In 1956, the inaugural Ballon d'Or goes not to the continent's most dominant forward, but to 41-year-old Stanley Mathews, who scores just once all year. The English winger, known more for longevity than output at this stage, edges out Alfredo Di Stefano, who leads Real Madrid to both the Spanish League title and the first European Cup while scoring 31 goals across all competitions. Mathews, in contrast, plays his final full season for Blackpool and contributes little statistically. Voters cite his sportsmanship and career legacy, terms that, unlike goals or trophies, have no fixed measure. Because only European journalists vote and many operate out of London, the British press influence skews heavily in Mathews' favor. France Football, the awards organizer, publishes no full ballot breakdown, just the top three. This sets an early precedent. The Ballon d'Or can prioritize narrative over production. By awarding a lifetime achievement version of the trophy in its very first year, voters bake subjectivity into the award's DNA. Mathews becomes the oldest winner in history and the only one to win while averaging under 0.1 goals per game. The Mathews decision introduces the Ballon d'Or as a career reputation contest rather than a performance index, and opens the door for every controversy that follows.
Didi snub. In 1958, Brazil wins its first World Cup, and Didi emerges as the tournament's best player, earning the Golden Ball Award for his pivotal midfield performances. Despite this international acclaim, the Ballon d'Or that year goes to Raymond Kopa, a French forward who helped his country reach the semifinals, but did not secure the World Cup title. The key factor is the Ballon d'Or's eligibility rules at the time, which restrict voting to European players playing in Europe, effectively excluding South Americans regardless of their World Cup impact. Didi's fifth-place finish in the voting highlights how the award prioritizes continent and club location over global performance. This exclusion reflects the Ballon d'Or's early Eurocentric focus, which limits recognition of top talent outside Europe despite their achievements on football's biggest stage. It also underscores the tension between international success and club-based reputation that would fuel numerous controversies in future Ballon d'Or races.
Europe-only era. From its inception until 1995, the Ballon d'Or was limited exclusively to players from UEFA member countries. This meant that some of the greatest talents of the era, including Pelé, Garrincha, and Diego Maradona, were automatically excluded despite their global dominance. Pelé's 3 World Cup titles and Garrincha's impact during Brazil's golden era went unrecognized in the awards voting, highlighting a major geographical bias in the rules. For example, the 1970 Ballon d'Or was awarded to Gerd Müller, who scored 38 goals in the Bundesliga and helped West Germany reach the World Cup semifinals, while Pelé led Brazil to a dominant World Cup victory that same year. Michel Platini famously criticized this rule, calling the award half a world award because it failed to acknowledge top players outside Europe. This policy fueled ongoing debates about the Ballon d'Or's credibility as a true world player award. Meanwhile, European players benefited from disproportionate exposure and media coverage, which skewed voting results in favor of players from the continent. This Europe-only rule remained in place for nearly 4 decades, creating a legacy of controversy and questions about fairness that persist into the modern era. The Europe-only restriction changed in 1995 when non-European players active in European clubs became eligible to compete, expanding the award's scope but still excluding many global stars playing outside Europe.
Johan Cruyff leads the Netherlands to the 1974 World Cup final, showcasing revolutionary total football and securing the Ballon d'Or that year. Despite his influence, Cruyff scores 0 goals in the final match, which West Germany wins 2-1. The Ballon d'Or voting reflects a narrow margin. Cruyff receives 116 points, while Franz Beckenbauer, captain of the winning German side, finishes second with 105. Beckenbauer's leadership and victory on the biggest stage seemed to warrant the award in many eyes, yet voters prioritize Cruyff's individual brilliance and the team's style over the ultimate result. This decision sparks a long-standing debate over individual achievement versus team success in the Ballon d'Or voting process. Paolo Rossi returns to professional football in 1982 after a 2-year suspension for his involvement in a betting scandal, having played only 11 Serie A matches that season before the World Cup. Despite limited club action, Rossi scores 6 crucial goals in the tournament, including a hat-trick against Brazil and the winning goal in the final versus West Germany. His performances drive Italy to its 3rd World Cup title and place him as the tournament's top scorer and best player. Rossi's sudden resurgence and impact on the world stage position him as the frontrunner for the Ballon d'Or that year. However, Rossi's win sparks controversy because his overall club season is statistically modest compared to peers like Zico and Michel Platini, who both delivered exceptional performances in league and European competitions. Critics argue that rewarding World Cup success disproportionately overlooks consistent excellence across an entire season. Furthermore, his prior suspension raises ethical questions about celebrating a player recently banned for match-fixing related misconduct. The debate around Rossi's 1982 Ballon d'Or highlights the tension between off-field conduct, tournament heroism, and season-long performance as criteria for the award.
Platini's three-peat. Michel Platini wins the Ballon d'Or 3 years in a row, from 1983 through 1985, a feat no other player had achieved at that time. In the 1984 European Championship, Platini scores 9 goals, leading France to its first major international trophy. His scoring rate in that tournament, 1.8 goals per game, sets a record that remains unbeaten, reinforcing his reputation as the dominant midfielder in Europe. The Ballon d'Or voters respond to both his individual brilliance and his central role in elevating French football on the continental stage. In 1985, Platini helps Juventus secure the European Cup, adding a prestigious club trophy to his international success. This combination of personal scoring feats and team victories strengthens the case for his continued recognition. Voters seem to reward not only his individual numbers, but also the growing dominance of French players in top European competitions. The consecutive wins highlight a perceived alignment between Ballon d'Or success and club achievements, particularly with Juventus's prominence. However, this era also reveals an emerging nationality bias in the voting patterns, as French players begin to consistently rank higher, possibly influenced by Platini's own stature. The Ballon d'Or during these years appears to favor players tied to club success within strong leagues and those representing rising football powers.
Van Basten 1992. Marco van Basten wins the 1992 Ballon d'Or after scoring 12 goals in Serie A, securing his position as one of Europe's top strikers that season. Despite his club success, the Netherlands are eliminated in the semifinals of the European Championship, limiting his impact on the biggest international stage that year. Meanwhile, other candidates such as Christos Stoichkov and Roberto Baggio deliver statistically stronger campaigns. Stoichkov scores 17 goals in La Liga and leads Barcelona deep into the Champions League, while Baggio's 18 goals propel Juventus to Serie A success. The award's outcome sparks controversy because voters seem to prioritize Van Basten's consistent club form and reputation over the more impressive statistics and tournament performances of his rivals. Johan Cruyff openly calls the decision political, implying that factors beyond on-field data influence the vote.
George Weah, 1995. George Weah becomes the first African and first non-European player to win the Ballon d'Or after a rule change expands eligibility to non-European players active in Europe. Weah scores 7 Champions League goals that season, helping AC Milan finish 4th in Serie A, though Milan failed to contend for major trophies. Despite solid numbers, other candidates like Jurgen Klinsmann post stronger individual statistics, raising questions about the criteria voters use to judge the award. This decision marks a major shift in the Ballon d'Or's global recognition, reflecting football's increasing internationalization and the rise of players outside traditional European powerhouses. The win sparks debate about whether the Ballon d'Or rewards legacy and reputation over single-season performance. Weah's status as a trailblazer for African football weighs heavily in voters' minds, while some critics argue that players with better seasonal stats are overlooked. His victory highlights the evolving balance between individual achievements and broader cultural impact.
Michael Owen, 2001. Michael Owen wins the Ballon d'Or in 2001 at age 22 after scoring 24 goals across all competitions. His pace and decisive strikes earn him the award, making him the youngest recipient since Ronaldo in 1997. Meanwhile, Raul Gonzalez surpasses Owen with 32 goals for Real Madrid and helps the club reach the Champions League semifinals. Liverpool, Owen's team, secures a treble that season, winning the FA Cup, League Cup, and UEFA Cup, but they fall short of European glory. Despite this, voters prioritize Owen's breakout year and emerging status over Raul's higher goal tally and deeper run in Europe. The award also notably excludes Italian stars Alessandro Del Piero and Francesco Totti, who deliver consistent performances in Serie A but fail to capture widespread international attention. Critics argue that Owen's win reflects hype surrounding a young, electrifying talent rather than sustained elite-level quality across the entire season. This moment exposes the tension in Ballon d'Or voting between rewarding rising stars and acknowledging established players with better overall statistics.
Ronaldinho, 2005. Ronaldinho wins the Ballon d'Or in 2005 despite Barcelona's elimination in the Champions League semifinals, where they fall short of claiming Europe's top club prize. That season, Ronaldinho scores 20 goals across all competitions, a solid but not overwhelming tally compared to other contenders. Meanwhile, Frank Lampard records a combined total of 19 goals and assists, powering Chelsea's midfield with consistency, and Steven Gerrard produces crucial Champions League performances that take Liverpool to the quarterfinals. These contributions highlight the question of whether voters prioritize style and popularity over measurable results. The decision to award Ronaldinho sparks debate about the balance between flair and statistics in Ballon d'Or voting. Voters appear to reward his creativity and entertaining style, which made him a global icon rather than pure output or trophies. This moment marks a shift in how individual brilliance is valued, with a growing tension between appreciating aesthetic impact versus sustained productivity.
Messi 2010. The Ballon d'Or podium in 2010 is dominated entirely by Barcelona players, with Lionel Messi, Andres Iniesta, and Xavi filling the top three spots. Messi scores 47 goals across all competitions that year, leading Barcelona to a treble including La Liga, Copa del Rey, and the Champions League. Despite his individual brilliance and club success, Argentina underperforms at the World Cup, exiting in the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, Iniesta plays a pivotal role in Spain's campaign, scoring the winning goal in the final and leading La Roja to their first ever World Cup title. This contrast between Messi's club dominance and limited international impact fuels intense debate over the award's criteria. Reports emerge that several Spanish national team players vote against Messi, supporting Iniesta or Xavi instead, reflecting a preference for international success over club achievements. The controversy spotlights the ongoing tension between valuing a player's season-long individual statistics and trophies with his national team performance in major tournaments.
Ribery 2013. Frank Ribery enters the 2013 Ballon d'Or race as the statistical centerpiece of Bayern Munich's most dominant season in history. He records 22 goals and 18 assists across all competitions, while Bayern win the Bundesliga by a 25-point margin, the largest in league history at that point. In Europe, they go undefeated through the Champions League knockout stage, outscoring opponents 15-3 and defeating Borussia Dortmund 2-1 in the final. UEFA names Ribery the best player in Europe in August, ahead of Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, citing both individual output and team success. By October, he's the frontrunner for the Ballon d'Or, widely seen as the player who delivered the most across the calendar year. Then, FIFA extends the voting deadline by 2 weeks, just as Cristiano Ronaldo scores a World Cup playoff hat trick against Sweden, Originally set to close on November 15th, the voting period now ends on November 29th, after Ronaldo's national team performance dominates headlines and highlights. When the results are announced, Ronaldo wins with 1,365 points, Messi takes second with 1,205, and Ribery finishes third with 1,127, despite the treble and the early voting lead. Ribery calls the result a robbery and insists he did everything to win, pointing to the timing change as the decisive swing. The deadline adjustment, though within FIFA's rules, becomes the key pivot point in a race Ribery had mathematically led until that moment. The controversy deepens distrust around voting transparency and foreshadows how late narrative swings can upend early season dominance.
Modric 2018. Luka Modric leads Croatia to the World Cup final, the nation's best ever finish, while Real Madrid secures its third consecutive Champions League title. Modric's combined club and international success earns him 753 Ballon d'Or points, outpacing Cristiano Ronaldo, who scores 44 goals across competitions, and Lionel Messi, who tallies 45 combined goals and assists. Despite Messi's higher individual numbers, Modric's leadership on both the global and club stages breaks the decade-long Messi-Ronaldo duopoly. This award marks the first time since 2007 that a player outside those two wins, signaling a shift in voting patterns. The victory sparks intense debate about the relative value of international success versus club statistics. Modric's World Cup performance, including captaining Croatia through 7 matches and playing every minute, significantly boosts his candidacy, while Ronaldo's and Messi's club seasons remain statistically superior.
Van Dijk 2019. Virgil van Dijk dominates the 2018-19 season by transforming Liverpool's defense into one of Europe's most formidable units. His presence reduces the team's goals conceded from 38 to just 22 in the Premier League, a key factor in Liverpool's resurgence as title contenders. Van Dijk also contributes 5 goals in the Champions League, a remarkable tally for a defender, helping Liverpool reach the final against Tottenham. His combination of defensive solidity and offensive threat earns him both the UEFA Men's Player of the Year and PFA Player of the Year awards, rare honors for a player in his position. Liverpool finishes the Premier League campaign with 97 points, only 1 point behind champions Manchester City, reflecting a near-record performance that underscores Van Dijk's impact. Ballon d'Or voters respond by awarding Messi his 6th trophy, but Van Dijk finishes a close second, marking one of the few times a defender has come this close to the award.
Lewandowski 2020. Robert Lewandowski scores 55 goals across all competitions in 2020, leading Bayern Munich to Bundesliga and Champions League titles. His scoring rate of nearly 1 goal per game marks one of the most prolific seasons in recent history, positioning him as the clear favorite for the Ballon d'Or. However, France Football cancels the award that year, citing unfair conditions due to the pandemic disrupting leagues worldwide and shortening seasons in some countries. The cancellation leaves Lewandowski without official recognition despite his record-breaking campaign. The decision sparks widespread criticism, as fans and players argue the pandemic's impact does not diminish Lewandowski's sustained excellence. Lionel Messi later admits that Lewandowski deserved the award, adding weight to calls for a retroactive prize or formal acknowledgement. Critics view the cancellation as a missed opportunity to honor one of the era's most consistent goal scorers.
Messi 2021. Lionel Messi wins the Copa America in 2021, securing his first major international trophy after 15 years of near misses with Argentina. Over the calendar year, he tallies 41 goals and 17 assists across all competitions, maintaining elite production at club and international levels. Meanwhile, Robert Lewandowski scores 48 goals, leading Bayern Munich to the Bundesliga title with a remarkable goal-per-game ratio. Lewandowski's numbers and team success make him a strong contender for the Ballon d'Or, but Messi edges him out by a narrow margin of 33 votes. The victory sparks controversy, with critics labeling Messi's win a sentimental vote celebrating his Copa America breakthrough rather than a pure performance-based decision.
Benzema, 2022. Karim Benzema scores 44 goals across all competitions in 2022, leading Real Madrid to both the Champions League and La Liga titles. His remarkable run includes scoring in every knockout round of the Champions League, underscoring his crucial role in securing Madrid's 14th European crown. Benzema's dominance in Europe and Spain puts him at the center of Ballon d'Or discussions, highlighting the value voters place on decisive contributions to club success at the highest level. Despite this, his recognition faces stiff competition from other top performers who shine in international tournaments rather than club football. Sadio Mane, the African Cup of Nations winner that year, finishes second in the voting, reflecting the prestige attached to lifting a major international trophy. Meanwhile, Kylian Mbappe records an impressive 39 goals and 26 assists during the calendar year, showcasing a high level of individual production. However, Mbappe's numbers failed to translate into Ballon d'Or points commensurate with his output, sparking debate over whether goal scoring alone should outweigh winning trophies.
Messi, 8th win. Lionel Messi wins the 2023 Ballon d'Or with 462 points, extending his own record for the most awards in history. Erling Haaland, despite scoring a staggering 52 goals and securing a treble with Manchester City, finishes second with 357 points. Kevin De Bruyne and Kylian Mbappe trail far behind, underscoring the clear divide between Messi and the rest of the field. Messi openly admits he may not be the best player this year, but emphasizes that he is the most beloved, highlighting the award's intangible sentimental value. This raises questions about whether the Ballon d'Or rewards pure performance or a broader narrative embraced by voters.
If you like this video, go ahead, like and subscribe, because I've got lots of exciting stuff coming up. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.